Possible MVP players, mid laners from Korea. I don't have my possible support for NA because I was going to do that and maybe 2 other people from North America. But I didn't have a support yet and I wasn't really feeling good last night to actually do the video. So that's why it's kind of delayed. But it will happen. We're going to do our mid lane power rankings too. We were actually still thinking about those. I want to really make sure I got the right people. I already have my number 3.
I already got flamed enough for my last one. So I want to make sure I'm gonna try and appease you guys to the best of my abilities.
Like I said, for my jungler one, Xmithy will probably be the best if Dardoch is only gonna be on Academy because he put Dardoch as first, though.
No, we already did ours.
You
put Xmithy at second.
No, I know, but that was I kind of wanted to put him first because Dardoch is on Academy though.
I don't think he's gonna last in Academy. I think somebody's gonna put him somewhere. But
all right, so it's our possible MVPs are gonna be actually in mid lane because Korea mid laners are literally world class. If you're not like Janair in your grace. So
Janair's terrible everywhere except for like
maybe Linderong now.
Linderong's the only not terrible player.
God.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Wait, the jungler Umti was pretty good actually.
Umti's gone.
Umti went to
KT as a backup.
Umti, what are you doing? But gonna be going from BDD, Faker, and he had someone else that I forgot. What was his name? Ucal, actually.
Yeah,
Ucal and BDD and Faker. So those 3 players for MVPs. We're still getting a lot of talking. So I probably should.
I think should
scoot closer.
The easiest one to talk about, in my opinion, is gonna have to be BDD.
I don't know. I think BDD's got more to talk about.
I think BDD. No, the thing about it is BDD has kind of. He's still pretty decently new to the scene. I think he came in obviously not too long ago.
Spring 2017.
Yeah, he came in last season, and for the most part, I think. His first 3 seasons were absolutely incredible.
Oh, people called him a KDA player. Sorry, he doesn't like dying.
Well, no, KDA players mean that you don't put yourself in situations to save the game just to save your KDA.
But he did do that though.
He did. I don't
he just
agree
outplayed
with.
his opponents though too.
I don't like.
People have to factor in. People need to factor in if you die at certain crucial points in the game as a mid laner, the game is over. So, if he's not dying a lot because he doesn't want to lose the game, that's probably a reason why. But. Let's see. So community factor in Korea does things by point. It's not like it's technically a regular season award and it technically isn't. Like it's not voted like it is in Europe and North America. How do they do it for China though? China does it's the same way, isn't it?
It's voting.
Yeah, Korea's the only place that's different. So it's based off literally carry performances pretty much.
It's not. It's based off of. You could be on a terrible team and be slightly above average, but everybody else on your team is mediocre. Essentially, every time your team gets a win, you get MVP votes.
That's why people don't understand how Khan got it last split. He was not even close to MVP level.
It doesn't matter. It's not. See, the thing about it is, don't put too much validation on the MVP vote inside of Korea because it doesn't really mean too much. It obviously means a lot.
It matters when you see the player doing really well, though.
I mean, it can. What I'm saying is, it can be misleading because it doesn't function the same way. So
personally, I thought score probably should have gotten in general.
Yeah.
BDD didn't even play that good.
All right, so obviously we want to tackle BDD first.
See, BDD is it technically. I wanted to put him as possible because we know he can have stand-up performances in general.
I think that his only really pretty decently poor performance was last split during the summer.
And that wasn't even that. He only fell off toward literally in the gauntlet. He had pretty good performances all the way around.
No, I think his season was pretty poor too.
At MSI, he was still pretty good.
I'm saying right after MSI, obviously the entire team fell apart. But for the most part, I think that BDD did struggle throughout the entire season after that.
Struggle with what though?
In what aspect?
Did he struggle with lane dominance? Did he struggle with roaming? Did he struggle with just getting what's that word people like to use? He wasn't
priority.
Yeah,
he wasn't lane priority.
He wasn't facilitating his team in the right way.
Essentially, what I'm saying is that I feel like obviously he still had the lane dominance is his strength. He's one of the most lane dominant mid laners in the league, and I feel like to an extent he didn't put on as much pressure as usual. I think that more so it kind of functioned because the jungler itself was kind of struggling. Peanut was not playing at the best of his abilities. And
I think he just marginally works better with Cuz though.
What I'm saying is, all around, I think that. Let me think.
You factor in, he is a carry-oriented mage mid laner, but he doesn't even really need jungle resources to do what he needs to do.
Okay, so what
he pairs up with Cuz very well, but when he paired up with Peanut, it didn't really work out too well. Peanut never really ganked for him, but it wasn't really a problem because BDD never really lost.
What I'm saying is BDD essentially didn't output the same, but I think it's more so situation where his team fell apart for the most part. So jungle obviously started struggling.
Oh my god, he was really bad at that.
The only person I will say didn't struggle extremely hard
would maybe Prey.
I mean, even Prey and Gorilla were a gigantic liability throughout the entire. Like that's the whole reason why I was kind of confused why they were imported. Why Gorilla? Because he did not look incredible to split before. But I mean, he didn't. But I think that his legacy goes too far because he's honestly.
He's had like one bad split doesn't equate to how like
it doesn't. He's been too good throughout his entire career for me to dissuade.
I think the whole game plan for what's the? I think the whole game plan changed for Kingzone. Like somehow losing to RNG like mentally destroyed them so hard they just were like, I don't care about winning anyway.
But essentially, bot lane became a gigantic liability. Peanut started struggling throughout.
Khan wasn't flexible, so drafting against him was so easy.
Khan was just completely terrible, man.
No, because like people knew that he wasn't flexible. So if you took away carry top laners like Mundo, Darius, and like
no one plays Mundo Darius. Like what I'm saying,
Mundo was really good at that point.
What's up? Mundo was good towards the middle of what's it called, but he is not. He's not a carry top laner. Is what I'm saying.
No, like if you took away certain champions that you knew he could do well on, he couldn't play tanks effectively that well.
Essentially, there's too many carry top laners for him not to be able to find one. I don't think you can ban him out. I think that he's a little bit too good for that.
I think like he's just not.
You have to manage Jace, so you're forced into a situation with that.
But he's not like where it's like with Smeb.
Essentially, I think so much of the pressure was put on him that you don't have to put like essentially he's expected to put down pressure. So I don't think he's really needed to play tank. You don't have to be like flexibility can work. Doesn't have to exist.
But if he can only play one style,
well, no,
drafting against him is easy. That means you know he's going to be a liability if you take away certain key champions.
You can't take away key champions if you're good enough in a specific style. Essentially, if you're good enough at playing aggressive and you can play like 70 aggressive champions with like 2 tanks. What about it?
Like Cho'Gath is kind of a carry / tank top laner. He didn't really pull off the Cho'Gath very well either.
Cho'Gath is not a carry at all.
Have you seen Cho'Gath?
Cho'Gath is literally just a tank. He's just a
he just hates Cho'Gath in general.
Well, Cho'Gath is fun. I mean, he's not.
It's fun.
He's not a carry tank.
I'd say he's kind of like the Heimerdinger of top lane. You just want to sit there and play farm simulator.
He's just a tank, man. He's just a big, beefy tank.
It's like Khan is not really like what you're gonna get out of Smeb. Like Smeb is gonna play tanks almost the same way he plays a Aurelia.
I think that obviously
Khan can't really do that.
See, the thing about it is, I think Khan at his best is probably one of the best carry top laners in the world.
Yeah.
So I think that he's not a liability when he's not underperforming. But the problem with Khan was he was underperforming. He was a gigantic liability. He wasn't playing carries better than.
So then that leaves it solely on BDD.
Yeah. So BDD was in a situation where he has to be the carry, and I honestly see the thing about it is the reason why I don't give him too much slack, why he started what I think he underperformed a little bit, is because I feel like the team itself was falling apart around him, and it was solely.
They can't play through bot side, which was also a massive strength for them. Yeah. Jungle was a massive strength. Everything was a massive strength, and 4 massive strengths fell apart. Mm-hmm. So it's literally based off him. I thought his performances were
still good.
They were still great. But the problem is like they're not going to give you wins. His performances don't really give you wins unless the whole team around you is winning. He doesn't solely win you the game all the time, like Faker, like like Ucal would. Like we saw Ucal for KT Rolls completely like murder.
Well, the thing about it is KT. Though I don't think Ucal.
Ucal had a super team too.
Yeah, Ucal had a good team around him. So and Faker had a terrible team. That's why they didn't win. I think
blank. God Lord. 613 damage on a Triforce Jax.
I want to see Blossom play again, man. Just like people who are just ridiculously stupid but so mechanically gifted.
I think Blank said he doesn't have a team right now.
Blank himself?
Yeah.
Blank is on a team.
He's a backup, I think.
I think he's a backup, but he still has a team.
Oh man. He's lucky to be a backup after what he did for his past couple of splits.
For the most part, I think that BDD is probably.
Would you put him as a possible MVP candidate in general?
What is this team again? It's BDD.
Oh, crap. Oh, he's on KT.
Yeah, he's on KT. Beat Smeb, Score,
and the
Snowflower,
and Ganjo.
Ganjo.
I could see him being the MVP of his team, actually.
I could see it happening, but likelihood is probably not. I don't think I think he's probably the 3rd best. If everybody's playing to their capabilities, he's Smeb.
But it's weird though. If like Smeb's last performance of the year was against
that was
the Shy.
Probably Smeb's worst year. I'm gonna give it to. I think that's.
He was still mechanically smart in the way he was. Facing
I think he was
the Shy.
smart, but I think he was not playing. That was his worst year.
You gotta factor in like that base race. Smeb outplayed him so much that it made it so like they couldn't 3-0. Like the way he he hit the minion waves. He vanguarded edges to slow him down. Like Smeb is still a very good player. The problem is like
that was an underperformance in his year.
Yeah.
And saying that when you make it to quarterfinals is kind of impressive.
That's not even close to an underperformance technically.
Well, for him it was, but for anybody else it was. Yeah.
I could see BDD being the MVP player of his team.
I think he's not better than Score, obviously.
Like, because Score is always going to be a valuable player to your team.
Yeah, I think that Score has really never had underperformances, so I think that it's
maybe one.
The reason why I'm not saying that, because I think he's going to be the third or second, or maybe even the first best mid laner in the league in terms of just skill level. But the reason I'm not going to put him at the top in terms of MVP voting is because there's too many MVPs on his team. There's too many players that I could
definitely see Score and Smeb just carry games based off their performance.
Yeah, I just think there's too many players that could compete with his MVP votes. Because you have to be the best player in that game specifically.
And you also have to factor in what's the meta going to be. Are you going to have to play through mid or are you going to have to play through top?
I really don't know what the meta is going to be yet.
Well, because the splits he did win, you had to play
essentially
through mid.
what is in what's it called? The relevant mid right now or Lissandra, obviously.
He plays Lissandra very, very good.
Yeah, but Lissandra's more so not a carry top mid laner. I feel like that's more like what we're leaning towards in the mid lane. I feel like the biggest portion of what I'm gonna have to see.
He plays Galio, Ryze, Lissandra.
I just feel like although I think he might be the best mid laner in the league next split, I don't think he's going to be because of the fact that he's gonna have to. He has too many players on his team that are superstars.
That can be a good thing and a bad thing.
In terms of
if you're gonna be the MVP, no, but like
it's kind of hard to put MVP status on somebody. Like in NA, you just say who do you think is gonna be the best player. In Korea, you have to say who's gonna be, like it's just so many irrelevant stats coming into play.
Yeah, like you have to factor best player in the game, performance in the game.
Only specific games. You get MVP votes for each game. So what I'm saying is, I think he's gonna be one of the best mid laners, but I don't think he's gonna get MVP. But who I do think is gonna get MVP is actually gonna be Ucal. I think he is. Really? Without a doubt, I think he is probably going to get it.
See, the problem, Ucal's going to have a marginally weaker team.
Yeah, but he is extremely good, and he's been on an upline since he came into the league.
Yeah, he's never really had bad performances all the way around.
All right. What was I in the middle of saying?
Oh, you think Ucal was on the upward trend?
I think that Ucal from the spring split, each split he got progressively better. Obviously, it's not going to consistently be at that extremity of how much he's going to improve. But I think he could possibly be for the next few seasons. I think he could be the best mid laner. I think that he is.
Ucal's strengths, just like the reason why people need to realize he switched out with Palm because Palm was underperforming, but Ucal never stopped underperforming.
I don't think Palm underperformed more so as he was average, and Ucal was extremely good.
Well, he's average, and then you have a super team.
Yeah,
being average on a super team doesn't
I guess
work.
That's technically underperforming.
But Ucal he played like a superstar.
I think that
really had bad performances. His only really bad performances came against Rookie.
I was about to say that's his one thing where I'll say he was completely exposed. Because I think Rookie had the experience on him. As it stands right now, there's a few mid laners in the world that I could say that can compete with him. Obviously, Rookie, I think
that Scout played against him pretty good.
I think that Scout would get beat. I think that Scout's pretty close. No,
Scout played against him very well.
Scout's worse than him, though. I think that it's going to be the Rookie. Again, I've pretty much been... Since I first didn't what's it called? I've been talking about him for a little bit, but Knight I think is going to be another competition for him.
But Ucal overall, I think he just, I don't know. Was he ever high in the MVP voting stats for Korea when they were doing?
He was a middle of the pack, but the thing about it is, it's not. I think that he's on a weaker team marginally. Like there's a few.
That's the problem with Ucal. BDD has technically a stronger team than he does now.
I don't even know. I mean, they have Keen, who's like. In terms of last season, Keem was the better top laner.
Yeah.
They have Spirit, who's pretty solid. He's a pretty solid player. They have Snowflower, who is extremely good in my eyes, even though he hasn't been in Korea. Korea is solid.
All the way around, it just seems like KT's gonna be better than Afrika in general.
I would have to see because the ADC is the they both have unproven ADCs.
Oh yeah, the both teams have people that haven't even played yet.
Technically Ganjo has played, but not in anything that means anything. So I need to see both of them play, and then it depends on whether or not it's all relevant on whoever plays better at who I think is a better team.
Yeah,
but I think for the most part,
I can see Ucal getting it.
Ucal has one superstar on his team. Where so is Actually, you know what? I actually don't know if I think that Snowflower might honestly
outperform.
No, I think he might get some MVP votings, but that's pretty much it.
I think Snowflower could definitely be an MVP if you're talking about like supports for Korea.
Yeah, but I think that for the most part, I think he has less superstars to compete with on his team. That's why I think he's getting the MVP voting. I think that BDD obviously is competitive.
Ucal's gonna have a lot of stand-up.
And I think that BDD has had more successful seasons than he has so far. I mean, he's had one split where I think he's been worse than Ucal for the most part. But I do think that Ucal's on a progressively better. He's going up. I mean, on a upward trend more than anybody right now.
BDD will probably end up still being a really great mid laner.
Oh, he's going to be 100% a good player. You can't take away what he's done. But I do think he is.
There's going to be better than him eventually.
Maybe. I mean, obviously not eventually.
Not because even like at MSI, BDD was at least like the third best player there. At least if you're comparing him to Caps, BDD was at least the third best.
The thing about it is, Caps wasn't better than Caps would have got stomped by Ucal at Worlds. And where so
well, if they actually did play.
If they played the level that Ucal played, he would have beat him.
But to be fair, Caps underperformed against
Caps
the mid laner, Rookie in general.
No, he got beat by Rookie. Rookie beat him every single time. Rookie did not.
Even against Fnatic 1, Rookie was still winning.
Every single one of the regular in the group stages, he got beat down by Rookie too. So it wasn't an underperformance. Ucal still got beat by Rookie, obviously, but I think that he put up a really good fight.
Ucal put up a better fight.
He did, and Ucal is actually newer to the scene than Caps is.
So
you have to take that into consideration too.
I think. Oh, also when we saw Ucal at Rift Rivals, he was not even a liability. Most people would think because you have a younger guy, he's a liability.
I think that the biggest thing I'm gonna have to see from this team, like from Ucal, is how good their ADC is.
I want to see how Ucal performs under pressure more effectively. It was really bad to see that he collapsed toward the very end.
I don't even think he collapsed, man. He was outclassed. It's really hard for me to say.
Was it only outclassed in skill, or was it outclassed in experience?
He was outclassed in everything, man. Like Rookie was just
like visible garbage though.
He did not. Are you talking about
in terms of team fighting? In terms of like what he averagely does to get his team to win?
Essentially, he didn't play bad. More so, as he didn't have the lead, or so the gold he usually has.
Well, because
he got outclassed.
He couldn't get leads. You can't really get leads against Rookie.
He had to build MR. Remember that?
Yeah.
He had to build MR in some of the games in Champions where
he had Galio, Azir, Swain, Galio, and I think he was kept on most of the same champions.
Yeah, he had to play
Galio first game against Rookie.
Yeah, he had to build MR in champions that need to build like some AP to do damage. And
the famous game they have, the game 3, he really did put it on. Like that game 3 was his best performance all the whole series. Like that game 3 Azir that people saw to Ucal, that's the Ucal that we're talking about.
But I would like to obviously
if that Ucal showed up, would he be MVP? The one from game 3. They had that base race.
The Rookie, the Ucal from anywhere in the regular season will be competitive for MVP. I don't want to say he's ever going to be unarguably the MVP because there's way too many good mid laners in Korea. I don't have a definitive who I think is going to be.
Now we move on to the unkillable Demon King, Faker. Now, it's kind of, I don't really want to put him as the possible MVP, but
I think it's
I think marginally BDD performed better than he did last year. Just in terms of what he was able to offer in the mid lane?
Obviously, I don't know. I don't think it's in terms of offering more so as what he did for his team, but I think he was able to do more for his team because he
people
had a better
would
team.
Put Faker as an MVP literally just because it's Faker's name.
But what I'm saying is, I think that I'd like to, now that Faker's on a better team, I think he might have a better chance at getting it, but I think he's going to at least play better because he's not going to have all these things on top of him. But I don't think that.
Yeah, the factor he had to control their macro. He had to control their shot calling, their objective control.
I think if you want my honest opinion, I don't think Faker's going to get MVP. I think that Faker.
I think he'll be second in the running to get it.
I think that right now, he's not even gonna have the most MVP voting on his team.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this, actually.
It's obvious he's not.
I don't know.
Well, Teddy's going to get it. Like, if anybody on that team gets it, it's most likely going to be Teddy.
I think Faker had highest. If you're going to give it to him, he's going to be, like, second in MVP
I'm going to put
voting.
Teddy, as of right now, he's going to be the single best ADC in the world next year. Single, but, like, not one of the...
Better than Piglet?
Man... I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for having way too much.
SKT versus Clutch Gaming World
I have
Finals.
way too much faith in. I actually had a dream of Clutch Gaming being first place, or undefeated. I actually dreamed of that.
I had a dream that Cloud9 was facing SKT in the World Finals next year.
Yeah, but
Am I wrong?
It hasn't happened, so as of now, you are.
There you go.
But
SKT is 4-0 against Cloud9 at Worlds.
I will say right now that I think he is going to be the single like if you've watched the Kespa Cup, he is
Faker is going to be
literally everybody on his team is if they start feeding, he doesn't, and he hard carries. He's treating them like they're all generic and they're garbage, and
that's good.
That's good. That's a good way to act. They're not garbage.
He needs that performance that he had. That's why they brought him over.
That's the good thing. Like they're not garbage, obviously. But he's acting like they are because
he did say today they don't have clean performances yet, but they're gonna learn how to get better.
Like
at that.
I think that with Mata in the bot lane, I think that he's gonna be the single best ADC in the game. I know this isn't an ADC thing, but this is the reason as to why.
The problem is, I think that Faker is gonna be put on people's lists as MVP because it's literally just Faker's name, which is not fair considering his performance was, I'd say, marginally worse than Ucal and BDD's. It was technically marginally worse than Kuro's.
I think that the thing about
Kuro got MVP too last year.
Kuro wasn't playing better than him, though. I think that's...
In some aspects, yes.
I think that the reason that Kuro got an MVP again is because of the fact that it's based off of the MVP points.
But they do factor in game performance as well.
They only factor in one specific game at a time.
No, yeah, but like, do you think in the games that Kuro did matter, was he better than what Faker mattered to his team?
I think that Kuro looked better because of the fact that he only...
At least his team was competent.
His team was solid around the map, but he only had to compete with Keen for MVP votes. And
because Spear wasn't getting any of those.
SKT literally just wasn't winning, so he can't get MVP votes.
Like, I don't want people putting Faker and be like, you guys are hating. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, in terms of these other two people, he did not perform better than BDD or Ucal.
I will disagree with the fact that I think that he shouldn't be considered. Because that's just I think
he'll be.
I just feel like most people should put him on the MVP votings because he's been too good for too long.
I would say just have him on a lower end because
I'm
it was
still
a whole year of not seeing the same Faker you saw in like 2017.
I won't say again. I'm gonna base it solely off the fact that if you have a worse team and you're put into a situation where you have to hard carry.
But we've seen that those players look amazing, like Teddy.
Teddy didn't ever complete. He never went into MVP though.
No, but like he looked amazing too.
He didn't. I mean. Amazing.
Like he looked pretty good while he was carrying.
The thing about it is, Jin was really good at stalling out games, and that's where ADC.
Terrible.
They're terrible. Like the old again.
The meta in which you could go to like 90 minutes, they were perfect.
Essentially no, they were always good throughout the entire year at stalling out games, and that's where
team.
They might be bad, but that was their strength. Essentially, that makes ADC strong because ADCs are strong late game.
And then it went. But when it came to early game, they were garbage.
SKT was attempting to play an early game aggression, and it didn't function well because they didn't have the players to do it.
They also didn't even know what style they wanted to play.
Faker essentially knew that if he'd let the game extend to a period where everybody started getting their leads a lane, the game would be over. Because each one of his lanes, besides maybe bot lane to an extent, I think Bang played well, but I think that
I don't think Bang and Effort were consistent enough.
They weren't winning. They weren't smashing anybody. They were good. I think that Bang was playing well. Effort was playing average. And I think that was enough to keep them not gigantic. But jungle and top were such a liability that he took it upon himself he needs to take over the game or it's going to be over.
Like he knew Untara was going to feed. I think that's his basic.
One thing I want to put out: there's two types of people in terms of Faker. There's other people, but
there's other Fakers.
Two polarizing types of people who talk when they talk about Faker. One group who will always put Faker at number one because he's apparently the best player who's ever lived, and which I will agree with, but.
I think there's been other Fakers in other roles since he's came, though.
There's never been anybody to his extent.
I think if you talk about Smeb at a certain point, was playing like a Faker of top lane.
I will never say anybody's been as good as Faker has. I won't agree. Like, Faker's the best player of all time.
No, but like I think there's been Fakers in other roles in certain aspects of when it comes to what he's been able to offer to what the game has. Like if you count Huni for season 5 of EU, that was a Faker.
Okay, that's just you're just throwing out that term too easily.
No, like
Huni was not an international threat. He got smashed by Smeb. Remember?
Just in terms of we saw something. You can see Faker qualities in a lot of players like Smeb, Shy.
You can see Faker qualities, but you can't see
all
of them. Yeah. All of them together. See, the thing about it is, I don't think there's been a Faker, obviously, but I do think that there's a lot of people out there who will just say, based off of past precedents, they want to put him at number one. Which in reality, I still think he should be in the top 5. But I don't
I
know
just can't
about...
see it after last performance, though. I think he's marginally still going to be really good, but I think that someone is eventually just going to outtake him.
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's time yet.
But to be fair, he's going to be really hungry this year to win. Because we did see in the years he didn't win, he came back absolutely incredible.
Realistically, he was the best player on his team last year. I think that's unarguable.
Arguably, maybe second Bang.
Second Bang.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think that he was the best player on his team last year, and he had a few underperform. On top of the fact that he didn't play a lot, I feel like they tried to make the team function around something that it shouldn't have.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
they played Kieran a couple games too.
A lot of the games. But I think that more so the team's dynamic was messed up, and I feel like that kind of reason is the biggest reason as to why he looked bad, and I 100% agree. I think he's going to be in the top 3 for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we're going to see a Faker not make it back into the top 3.
Could we see him at his, like, 2017, 2016, 2015 Faker performances?
I think his best year, obviously, was Season 3 and 4. Those were his best years.
I think Season 5 was still amazing out of him.
It was not as good as the seasons before that.
Oh, because of
his Season 5 was
he did
good.
struggle against... He had marginal champion issues because, like, he couldn't play, like... the mages as well as Easy Hoon, so they switched him out a lot.
He was not as good at control mages as Easy Hoon.
But eventually he became super good at them.
Eventually they didn't take obviously Easy Hoon really never played in the Worlds.
Yeah.
Because Easy Hoon just couldn't, like, Faker just went off by the end, yeah. So what the thing about it is, I think that Faker, he deserves, there's people who will put him at number 1 no matter what happens, and there's people who will always try and be like, who will try and disagree with that because they like to be the they like
want to be the odd guy out.
No, they want to be essentially people. There's a lot of people out there who will disagree with popular opinions because it makes them feel like they're smarter.
Well, no, like sometimes you can do that.
I'm not saying it can't happen
because like sometimes those people bring up very valid points that people that only see it as like a fanboy won't see it.
What I'm saying is that's not what I'm saying though. What I'm saying is. They'll point out faults inside of players. Obviously, you can do that with everybody. But the reason there's two type people who will always agree with him. There's people who always say he's overrated. Those
are just haters in general.
No, there's people out there who just essentially.
No, but like the problem with that, being overrated is different. Like you can't be overrated and then still have those types of performances that he had all those years. Like the years that both years they didn't go to Worlds, he still had incredible performances. That's not overrated though. That means they're just being haters. You can't look at that and go, he's overrated. He's still outperforming everybody on his team though.
What I'm saying is I agree with that, but I think that we're gonna have to see him come back to form next year. I don't think
he left form.
I think
you even said he performed really good.
I think he performed well, but he definitely underperformed because he was put in a position where he had to.
Well, you're gonna underperform less if your team. He didn't.
I think next year he's not gonna get MVP. That's my honest opinion. I don't think.
I think he will be second
on his
at
team.
Certain points.
I think he's gonna be second on his team in MVP votings.
Because you have Khan and Mata are just like. Mata got a lot of the votes for KT.
They have 2 players in the bot lane who are leading the league in MVP votings.
Mm-hmm. Still haven't got it yet.
I think that he's going to be the second or third on his team behind the bot lane. Both of the bot laners are just Teddy.
Like, cause like I've learned from most outside people that you don't if you look you have to look at a player like Faker, kind of like like Michael Jordan. At certain points, Michael Jordan wasn't the best in terms of like certain games because you factor in other people's performances. Enhance his performance as well too.
I mean, essentially, Michael Jordan more so enhanced other people's performances.
But there were certain games he underperformed, and his team brought him up to that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's like the movie Infinity War. If you guys watch that, certain parts you can go, oh hey, this is really good, and then you go like, wait a minute, no, you have to look. It's better to look at players like Faker.
I don't like that analogy. I'm not saying I disagree with the fact that Infinity War wasn't amazing, but I don't know if that one fits. This.
You gotta look at it things like objectively. But then when you go, he's overrated, you can't really say that because an overrated player gets worse marginally with time. Like it's like if Caps next year, it does not play as good as he did in 2017 and 18. That's overrated.
I don't want to explain, I feel like people understand it. If essentially what he's saying is...
Look at it objectively.
Look at throughout his entire career, obviously. It's some people look at his entire career and base that off of what he's gonna be.
That's what you should do.
And some people what you should do is say he's played well all this year, so I'll give him some credit. Mm-hmm. But that just because of the fact that happened doesn't mean I give him too much. Like honestly,
that means we're not putting him at number 1 now.
I don't think he's gonna get it based solely like he didn't play amazing last year. I think that Ucal played better. I think Ucal's probably gonna be the best mid laner next year.
Let's factor in when Afrika. So if that Faker had went on one of those teams that went to Worlds, could they have gone further?
I think that Faker 100% plays well. I think that he would have.
Like if Faker was on the KT roster team that played against IG without a
Faker would have done extremely well against Rookie. He's always done well against Rookie.
Yeah.
Faker's completely capable of handling Rookie on his own.
They did face Rookie. He did. SKT played IG at Rift Rivals. He was just fine against him.
What I'm saying is he always does well against Rookie. When Rookie was on back when he was on KT,
it was KT. He was on KT Arrow.
Yeah, he was completely capable of handling him. I think that Faker, in terms of what's it called, he's gonna be. If you'd send any mid laner into the international stage, I would rely on Faker. Faker is the most stable and probably most consistently good mid laner in the league. I think that
he'll legit bring you 1v9s.
The reason why I think that he's good, the reason why I think that I wouldn't put him at number 1 though, is because he doesn't consistently have standout performances. He's always completely way above average, but never the single best player constantly, because that's not what he's been recently. Yeah. He's not been that recently. It's literally been probably a season since that's happened.
So, yeah, like the last time I saw that type of Faker was at Season 7 Worlds when he literally hard carried his team to finals.
And then they lost because actually Huni played well too.
Oh yeah, too.
The bot lane was terrible, man.
God, like if people remember his Galio performances in Season 7, oh my God, at Worlds, jeez.
He like ulting bot and then TPing top to save the he was ridiculous.
Yeah, like if that Faker shows up this year, that's gonna be probably the best player again. Like I could see him. Like, we're going to do top 20 players at Worlds this year coming up. We didn't do it live this year because we didn't have a channel at that point. Well, he was scared.
Scared?
Whoa. Where would you put Faker at, like, top 20 if you had like, next year, if he does, like, really, really well?
I think that Faker is still... It depends.
Would you put him in the top 10?
It hasn't happened yet. I don't know. I don't know where I put him right now. He hasn't played yet.
But even like Faker just puts on a MVP performance.
I'm not
leading his team.
I'm not gonna put him at number 5 until I see him play. If he's played at a number 5 position before Worlds has started, but I'm not gonna give him number 5 because Faker's capable of that.
Yeah, that's not fair.
I'm gonna give him what he's done, and obviously that's the biggest reason as to why I put him a little bit. Like I do think he's gonna be in the top 3 for mid laners, but I do not like he's gonna be better than Chovy. It's going to be better than all the rest of them.
This is pretty much like possible best mid laners in Korea for MVP for mid lane. So if you go by Ucal, BDD, I don't know. I think BDD and Faker are both going to be really hungry to prove something. Because like when Faker didn't win Worlds or go to Worlds those years, he came back like absolutely incredible. It's been like twice since he did it. So is it hard to believe he won't do it a third time? Because I think Kesper could be.
The thing about it is, at Season 4, he didn't play poorly when they didn't go to Worlds.
He also didn't play poorly this split either.
He played poorly.
But it wasn't that bad, though.
This is his single worst season.
Yeah. But if, like, the Kespa Cup, if you guys watch that, he played pretty good. Like, people, oh my God, like, sometimes, what's the other Faker arguments that people usually bring up, though? Overrated, his team carries him. Oh, he's always been on a good team. That's why people say that. Because he's really never had a bad team until this actual year.
Essentially, he's getting it off of Reddit comments that have two upvotes.
They have like lots.
They had like 3.
One guy had like 50 though.
Okay. Essentially, anybody who says he's been on a good team every single time, I don't know who else hasn't been on a good team. It's not. You have to be on a good team.
All star players are on good teams.
There's not really a star player who just single-handedly carries this team to Worlds. I can't think of one.
I would probably really have to think about that, but there's definitely maybe. But that's pretty much it. Faker, BDD, and Ucal. Unless you have anybody else. I was gonna say Chovy, but Chovy was still like incredibly well though.
He's not in the top 3.
I thought Chovy, when he actually got what he needed to get, like in resources, he performed absolutely incredible. Chovy literally single-handedly almost got them to the finals.
Chovy's the 3rd or 4th best player on his team.
Yeah, I really think he's gonna be fantastic this split though. I think he's gonna have something to prove. He's gonna have experience under his belt, and he's already shown to be really good. He's gonna be on an upward trend. I think he's gonna be the next Ucal or BDD.
He's not as good as them.
Really? No. He definitely has the potential. Definitely has the potential to be
at least
BDD level.
I don't think he's ever gonna get to those 2 levels. He's gonna be a above average serviceable mid laner at the most.
He's gonna be a Niski of.
No, he's better than Niski.
Well, like if you had to compare the versions.
Well, I guess that'd be a good.
What would he be? He'd be like the Perks maybe of Korea.
Yes.
No, because Perks had amazing performances. Perks like performed at a great level, but Chovy did too.
Chovy can have good, like amazing performances, but he's not going to consistently be that.
That's the only mid laners I'm thinking of right now. Oh, I know I'm forgetting someone, and maybe the top 5. No, it's pretty much a dark horse. I didn't talk about yet. Fly. I think Fly, if he performed like he did last split, I think he's just incredible.
And he'll be 5th best.
Yeah, MVP. He did get some MVP votes.
He'll be 5th best in the MVP if he plays like last season.
He plays like last split. If you just go off last split,
he's good.
He played really good.
He was good.
He was better than. He was literally better than expectations. He was supposed to come in and be absolute garbage because he's always been garbage in Korea. He finally had a good split in Korea. If we're going off just by last split, he should be a possible.
I don't think he's gonna be a possible MVP.
No?
I don't think he was that good.
There's no one else I can think of right. That's it actually. So yeah, Faker, BDD, and Ucal.
And Pawn. I wish.
Swear to God, on that Pawn here, I'll murder you.
No, I wish.
But yeah, that's our possible mid laners for Korea for possible MVP. I kind of wanted to take it a different route. You guys seem to like the longer video, so if I have anyone else we could think of, he's gonna have to have some people for China. I really can't. There's only one player I'm gonna have for China. That's like Rookie and Shy. Or no, maybe Karsa. I really do think Karsa's MVP level for what he offers in China, but
no,
he hates Karsa.
I think people overrate him.
He does play like a world-class jungler, though.
He's a world-class jungler, but he's not to the extent people say. I don't even think he's the best jungler in China, or the second best.
He's not even Chinese, technically.
I mean, I don't want to start that argument.
But he does count as an import slot, which is really stupid.
Goodbye.
I'll see you guys later. Like, comment.